think the most interesting thing going on in WWE right now is this theory, this storyline teaser possibility that CM Punk is going to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I personally am of the belief that that is happening. I think it's going to be Punk versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, but if they do that, there are so many questions to answer, and there's so many domino effects because of that, that I'm really interested to see how WWE does all of this. Now, first off is the why. Why do I think that they're doing CM Punk versus Roman Reigns instead of a CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, a CM Punk versus Gunther, or even a CM Punk versus John Cena instead? Well, for a couple reasons, and some of that is on screen, and some of that is what I would believe is happening behind the scenes. The first one is on screen, as we already got this teaser when CM Punk and Roman Reigns sat down, and the wise man was in the middle trying to be the mediator, and Punk brought up the favor that Paul owes him for saving him against the bloodline. Roman wants to know what that favor was, and obviously Paul wouldn't say what it was, and it felt like Roman kind of knew what it was. That became more evident at Survivor Series War Games when after the match, after the OG Bloodline and Punk had won, Punk told Heyman that when he was ready to cash in that favor, he better be ready. It actually became more interesting what Roman did later. Typically, this would be a moment where Roman would hug Heyman or be very relieved to see the wise man, and he didn't really have that look on his face. He almost just kind of gave him a pat, and it was almost like, I know our time is about to be up. I know what I'm gonna have to do. I know what you're gonna have to do. And I do think that that is eventually CM Punk's favor. I think that CM Punk's favor is for the wise man to turn on Roman Reigns. And that kind of dives into my second point. If WWE ever wants CM Punk to be heel, I think that they only have really three options to do so. And that one option is Roman Reigns. I think if you turn him against Roman Reigns, the fans are going to gravitate towards Roman over Punk. I think that the other two are just John Cena and Cody Rhodes. And I even think at some point, those are kind of stretches. I personally think that Roman is the safest option if you are wanting to turn CM Punk heel. The third is straight up, Punk's whole story has been that he wants to main event, and it seems like off screen that still is the case. He wants to main event, and he's always made that a big thing. In his personal life, he's always talked about how he always wished that he was the main event of WrestleMania, and this is his shot. Kinda. The reason why I said that it's kind of main event is I don't know if CM Punk even considers that to be the main event. Maybe he means the main event of night 2. Now, personally, I count main event of night 1 as the main event, but as Punk has said personally, there's only one main event of a pay-per-view. And if that is the case, there's only one true main event of WrestleMania. Maybe he's fine with night 1 or night 2, but those comments that he made towards MJF don't really seem like he still feels like night 1 is the main event, and maybe that's just all in character, or maybe he has changed his mindset on that whole philosophy, but he's always said that there's only one true main event, and that WrestleMania main event is night 2, and I believe that that is Cody's main event. He had such an amazing, massive story that you kind of have to have him main event night 2, I think, for this to be looked at as a serious success, which I do think the Cody title reign actually has been. Obviously, we don't know how many more years that CM Punk has left as a WrestleMania main event guy. Maybe it's 10 years, maybe it's 2 years. I don't know, and I don't want to put a timeline on the guy. But Roman Reigns is about as guaranteed of a WrestleMania main event as you can get. A genuine hated story in that you can tell on screen. And then there's obviously fighting for the wise man. And that could literally be what this WrestleMania main event is about. It could be about who gets the wise man, or they could put the World Heavyweight Championship on the line. But if they are going to do CM Punk versus Roman Reigns, the domino effect that causes is insane. That kind of leaves one match. It's gotta be Cody versus Rock to main event over Roman versus Punk, right? Unless it's maybe Cody versus John Cena. It's just kind of a match out of respect. Because I think that there would be legitimate arguments that Cody Rhodes versus, let's say, Randy Orton is not going to main event night 2 over Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. And I would hear those arguments. I think that that is a decent argument to make. But in the same vein, say that they are set up for Roman Reigns versus CM Punk on night 1 of WrestleMania, and we also have Gunther versus John Cena. Let's say John Cena wins the Royal Rumble, and he wants to go after the World Heavyweight Championship. He wants to go after Gunther. How could that not main event, right? It's John Cena. It's the record-breaking 17th championship. And even if he doesn't win that, you have to add in that speculation or add in that that anticipation that this could be the title win. And I think that if it's not main eventing night 1 or night 2, I think we all know that Gunther's going to win. There's this possible speculation that John Cena is going to face Logan Paul at WrestleMania, and God, that would suck. I do think that there is a decent argument to be made that there's going to be a triple threat at WrestleMania, and it is going to be CM Punk versus Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship at night 1. And I think adding Seth into the mix actually makes this seem more logical in terms of a storyline. You can still have the wise man turn on Roman Reigns, which makes Roman Reigns want to face CM Punk. While Seth Rollins wins the World Heavyweight Championship, let's say at the Royal Rumble or Elimination Chamber against Gunther, making him the World Heavyweight Champion. Have that tension between Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins again, because that's been a building story. And add CM Punk into that, as CM Punk obviously hates Seth, he hates Roman, he took Roman's wise man, and he wants that main event, he wants that World Heavyweight Championship after he told Seth that Seth had nothing that he wanted. Now, Seth has everything that he wants. He has the World Heavyweight Championship, and he has the main event. I think that that is such a massive match that makes total sense for WrestleMania. And then I sit back and I think, like, that's such an unfortunate situation for the women as well. The women on the main roster have main evented one pay-per-view in 2024, and I don't know if they are going to get a WrestleMania main event. To be honest, I don't think that they are going to get it, and they didn't get it last year. But in terms of like the year that Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley and Io Sky and many others, Nia Jax, all of these people put in, it does kind of suck that they're not going to get a main event. Still always the possibility that you just straight up do Punk versus Seth. And I know that that match is scheduled for January 6th Netflix debut. And I do actually think that the reason why they're doing that match is to get it out of the way now to do Punk versus Roman, but Seth could possibly be injected into that match. But I don't think that's going to be the WrestleMania match. But say you do Cody versus Rock versus Roman as a triple threat of night 2, that would leave Punk versus Seth for night 1. That could be very easy. Punk wins the Royal Rumble while Seth wins the World Heavyweight Championship and they move on, or vice versa. Seth wins the Royal Rumble and Punk wins the World Heavyweight Championship. Regardless, Seth would have that main event of night 1 if he won the Royal Rumble, which would be the thing that CM Punk wants. I think if Seth is not involved in the WrestleMania main events, then I think it's probably Seth, Kevin Owens, and Drew McIntyre versus the Usos and Sami Zayn, which I do think is a very, very cool match that I would be super open to. But I don't know. I just rattled off for 10 minutes talking about all of the possibilities of what happens if CM Punk and Roman Reigns main event. There's a huge domino effect for most of these matches for WrestleMania, but this one is a massive domino effect. It changes the entire card. Apparently, there's even politicking with who's going to main event this Netflix Raw, with Roman and Solo wanting to main event and Punk and Seth wanting to main event. There is so much drama that there seemingly is going on about main eventing. To be honest, I think it's going to be Punk versus Roman, maybe Punk versus Roman versus Seth, but it will be very interesting if they decide to have Punk versus Roman main event, if it's just for the wise man. Is the wise man more important than the World Heavyweight Championship? Is the wise man more important than possibly John Cena winning number 17, if Cena is even in that position? This is why I say that Punk versus Roman is the most interesting thing, because there's just so many domino effects that it causes that I'm definitely interested to see how this plays out. But you guys let me know what you guys think is going to happen with CM Punk, with Roman Reigns, with Seth Rollins, how that domino effect ends up happening to you. I'm going to be completely honest. I don't think any of them should main event. I think the main event should be Sheamus winning the IC title so that he truly finishes the story that we all care about. Thank you guys for watching. I've been John Boy Bebop. Deuces.